The Black Girl Curse. Here to talk about it, our first guest is Helena Andrews. She's the author of the forthcoming book, Bitch is the New Black. Ms. Andrews has written about and spoken about the single black female rather extensively. Her book talks about the lives of single professional black women and has already been optioned as a film. She joins us live from the ABC News Bureau in Washington. Helena, thanks so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Also with us today, Dr. Alduan Tart. Dr. Tart is a psychologist who specializes in relationship issues between black men and women. He's also the author of the book, The Ring Formula, How to Attract, Keep, and Marry Mr. Right. He joins us live from the ABC News Bureau in Atlanta. Dr. Tart, thank you for joining us as well.
Thank you for having me.
And Helena, we'll start with you. Who is at fault, if someone is at fault, for black women being the least likely of any race or gender for getting married?
I don't think anyone's at fault. I think when we talk about that issue, immediately you put black women on the defensive when you say why a single successful black woman can't find a man. Most black women that I know will tell you they can find men. There are men out there. They just haven't found the one yet. But I think when we talk about who's at fault, we're immediately getting into a place that's a little bit dangerous, because we talk a lot about the number of unmarried single black women, but we never talk about the number of unmarried single black men.
But do you think that black women want to get married at higher rates than black men? The black women want to get married at higher rates?
I don't know if that's the case. I think that would be an interesting study, and I don't think we've done that yet. I think that when we talk about the hysteria or the crisis about the single black woman, I think a lot of black men will play into that hype and realize, you know what, if they're telling me that there's all these great women out there and that there's not a lot of me, then maybe I get to play the field a little bit longer. Maybe I'm gonna play those odds to my favor.
All right, Dr. Tart, a question for you. Let's take blame aside. Clearly it is a problem. The numbers game just doesn't seem to add up. If we talk about musical chairs, there are simply more black women out there than black men who are eligible to get married. 1.8 million more black women just for starters. Why do you think that this is such an issue?
Well, I think that we've done a lot to kind of hype the issue up to scare black women to think that there are no available professional men that want to move towards marriage. It's almost like a single man that wants to move towards marriage is like Bigfoot. He doesn't exist. And perception shapes reality. There are millions of black men out there that would marry every last one of those women on the first special, as well as Helena Andrews right now.
Well, Helena, you talked about, and I read in the Washington Post, where you're saying that your black friends, and you included, you kind of checked off all the boxes. You got the job, you got the degree, you have the house, you have the car, and you're like, what's next? And many people had the expectation of the Huxtable family. Are you finding that there are many, you perhaps included, and your friends who are, say, disappointed?
I don't know if it's a disappointment, if more it's a popping of this illusion that we have, because to be honest, we're 80s babies. We did grow up with The Cosby Show and the Huxtables, two extremely professional, successful people who somehow were able to raise 5 children. It was a dream that I think a lot of black girls had growing up. And as we become adults and we live these very individual lifestyles, I think a lot of us, black women and black men included, see our success as something that we do alone, as opposed to something that we do with someone else. So that when we do get to be almost in our 30s, I'm 29, I turned 30 in October, I think to myself, wait, did I forget something? Was I supposed to be focusing on marriage? Is that something that's important to me? And I think the first question a lot of black women need to ask themselves, is that what they want? Is that something that's important to us? As opposed to, is that what we think we should be doing now? Because for the past decade, I think a lot of us have done exactly what we thought we were going to do. We went to college, we got those master's degrees, we got that first mortgage, and we were doing all those things. And then we look up and say, wait, did I miss the marriage certificate? Was that something that I was supposed to do? And I think that's the first question a lot of women and a lot of men need to ask themselves.
All right, so you